Hi, my name is Patrick Gillespie, and I've been working with the municipality of Sestica on the implementation of Project Beyond. And the purpose of this presentation is to reach out to the people who haven't heard about our project and to tell them what we were able to achieve and what our project was all about, so that perhaps you can also try to create your own project in the same manner and reach out to citizens in this post-pandemic era. So, all right, so I'll now begin with my presentation. Okay. Okay, so all right, so Project Beyond is short for Rural Communities Pushing Beyond COVID-19. And perhaps maybe to begin with a little bit about how our project has been financed. So we were approved for a grant worth over 148,000 euro under the Citizens Equality Rights and Values Program under the Open Call for Proposals Networks of Towns from 2022. And the municipality of Sestica prepared this project as a means to enhance the involvement of citizens in the community, so in civil society actions, and to make sure that they have a stronger role in the communities in this post-pandemic period. So all of our municipalities here. So we have here on the map the municipality of Sestica, which is located on the Croatian Slovenian border. We have two partners from Slovenia, the municipality of Ormož, plus a nonprofit organization called Zavod Sopotniki, which is providing free mobility services for senior citizens. They're being supported by the municipality of Dolcina in Slovenia near the Italian border. In Italy, we have two municipalities included, the municipality of Cavriago and the municipality of Uzo. In Germany, we have the municipality of Heiningen, and in Hungary, we have included a nonprofit organization called Sajt, which is also supported by the municipality of Sajt. So this project in particular has been broken down into 7 3 days events, and at each 3 day event, our main idea was to present how our towns dealt with the COVID-19 pandemic. How did we deal with the challenges, and what solutions did we come up with to help citizens during this very difficult period? So we had 7 3 day events, and they were divided as follows. So we had a kickoff event in Sestica in March 2023, which focused on civil protection and organizing volunteers. The second event was in Ajdovština, organized by Sopotniki and the municipality of Ajdovština to promote intergenerational solidarity. The third event in Heiningen was organized in September 2023, which focused on social inclusion and environmental protection. The fourth event in Cavriago was held in November 2023 to focus on mental well-being of families and education actions in the community. The big focus as well was on youth. In Uzo, Italy, in May 2024, this year, we focused on preserving cultural and natural assets during the pandemic and how that can be done with the support of citizens. In September, we had the event organized by Sajt Eszterszeg Terület, nonprofit Sajt, which was supported by the municipality of Sajt. And the main idea behind that was to address the mental well-being of the most vulnerable during the pandemic. And we had the final event last month in Ormož from October 23rd to 25th, where we focused on community events and using tourism as a means to promote solidarity in these difficult times. At each event, we included between 80 and sometimes over 100 participants. We estimate that we reached out directly to 800 citizens in the community, and with news coverage, web posts, social media, and whatnot, we believe that we easily reached out to the wider region, which can cover well over 1 million people. So here's some highlights from each event. Here's our kickoff event in Virachin, which included a firefighting demonstration, workshops, and as well as site visits so that visitors could get to know the community better, could meet, could exchange new ideas, come up with new project concepts, and the like. And this is kind of the initial event while the pandemic was still on. Even though there were no need for like face masks or anything like this, precautions needed to be taken to ensure safety. So we did have social distancing in some cases. But overall, the event went fairly well, and people were able to work together in situ, in person, and discuss how the pandemic affected them. So at the end of this first event, it was more like an introduction for everybody. We were able to learn how Sestica assists persons in need in the community through the presentations of its projects such as Zageli and also the actions of the Red Cross. We learned how citizens came together in these difficult times, and we shared best practices. For instance, the senior citizens home Novi Život showed how it was trying to reach out to seniors, engage them, be social with them, even though there were social distancing conditions applied. So many lessons were learned, and many best practices were spread. The second event was in Aidovština and organized by Sopotniki in cooperation with the municipality of Aidovština, and this was in June 2023. And to begin with, we had presentations of how Aidovština succeeded, and we also had many workshops where we were jotting down ideas on how we could get beyond the pandemic, as well as to help the most vulnerable in the community, mainly persons who are of elderly age. So through this cooperation, we were able to connect younger generations with the elderly. We were aware of what best practice methods, especially Sopotnikis, are working to, let's say, make sure they remain connected to community activities. The free mobility service was a huge help for everybody. And we also learned through additional presentations, such as the Lore Project, which was presented by Dobro Pot, an NGO, how collecting local stories, histories, verbal, let's say, unwritten tales from other older generations helps to preserve local heritage. So we really learned a lot about why it's important to connect generations and how that can be done during the crisis times such as COVID-19. After that, we had the third event in Heiningen in Germany, and that was in September 2023. And here are some of the highlights from the event. So included presentations, workshops, interactive quizzes, a tour of the waste to energy facility in Heiningen, which is a zero emissions incineration facility. And we also had tours of the firefighting department and a nature walk to show how Heiningen was promoting physical activity as a means to overcome the pandemic. So all of this was a benefit to everybody because we didn't really have such a good idea of how communities such as Heiningen, which is quite small, can move towards the environmental goals of the European Green Deal. And this was a big help, learning about the energy cooperative, learning about the zero emissions facility, and also just how they're encouraging citizens to change behavior. Apart from this, we also learned about a few other projects that were of interest to the participants, such as Heiningen Health project, which was connecting people who had certain needs via web tools during the pandemic. And we also learned about how Heiningen is working to integrate migrant persons in the community despite the various challenges they're facing from day to day. So all of this was of benefit to the participants and helped us to understand how we can move on these themes, even though there might be something difficult such as COVID setting us back a little bit. Sorry. Our fourth event was in Cariago in November 2023, and the main focus of this event was on the mental health of families as well as education actions during the pandemic. And during this event, we were able to see Multiplo, the main center, which is bringing together NGOs. They have many different services that are catered to youth, the elderly, persons with disabilities. We all discussed how we are feeling in a post-pandemic era and how the mental picture has really changed since the pandemic has started, in that we seem to be in need of more social behavior. So this was all quite enlightening for all of us. As well, we also saw the school facilities, including La Cremeria, as well as a nursery and the local primary school, to see how education is being delivered in this post-pandemic era. As a result, we learned how we can work in this post-pandemic era to overcome mental health crises, as well as to, let's say, address the needs of families to promote sustainable growth. So this was all very important. We learned about the best practice methods that are being used, as well as the projects such as Dad Generation, Educare, and as well as another project, YAP, which are being used to promote mental health, mainly targeting those under the age of 30. Event 5 in Uzo focused on cultural heritage and how we can work together to promote cultural heritage during crisis periods. And during this time, we learned a lot about Uzo being a very, very small community. They have the Mancia approach, which is a person in the community assigned to let's say, tend to the minor needs of citizens, such as, let's say, a broken fire hydrant. They wouldn't go to the mayor first, they would go to the mancia. So that person then collects, let's say, the needs and demands, and then liaisons with the main government. And this has been something that's been in function for generations. So we learned how this functions. We also learned about how local organizations, volunteers, and others are working to promote and preserve cultural and natural heritage in the region. And we also learned a lot about how a small community up in the high hills of the Alps had coped with the pandemic and overcame various challenges, the biggest of which was access to social services and health services during the pandemic. I think we can all say without a doubt that during that event, we did learn about the new model, Mancia, which is something that they've had for years, but we didn't. We also learned how it's very important for all of us to come together during times of crises and work together during a crisis event such as COVID-19, and that volunteers are the main things that make our cultural heritage better, make our community better, and make basic civic life better. In September, we had the 6th event in Szajd in Hungary, and this was organized by our partner, the nonprofit Szajd. So our main focus was on the needs of the most vulnerable in the community, being elderly people, persons with disabilities, and others. And this included a tour of the education facilities. They showed us how the mill is being used to connect people, as well as the town market, how that's being used to bring people together. And we also learned about the actions of local volunteers to help prepare local infrastructure. And they basically do this based on their own initiative. So all this was quite interesting to all of us as we learned that local initiatives need to come from citizens willing to do the right thing. So some of the main results were that we learned about the local mental health setting in Hungary and, let's say, the wider region in Hungary during the crisis period, and how education, healthcare, and cultural heritage were impacted, and how organizations adapted to the situation, and how we could use the same methods. It was always emphasized how European values such as inclusion, diversity, and solidarity enhance the well-being of the community. And basically, they showed how coming together is the main way in which we can ensure mental well-being and the inclusion of all groups. We had our final event in Ormos last month, And here's some highlights from this. So it was focusing mostly on how community actions focusing on tourism and cultural heritage help to improve the community as a whole. And some of the things that were included in this event were a nature walk, showing how nature was being used to promote physical activity and mental well-being during the pandemic. We visited various agricultural sites to see how they adapted their operations to the conditions of the pandemic. And we also visited cultural associations, which bring men, women, the young and the old, all generations, as well as persons with disabilities together to basically promote the cultural heritage. And that was done in the municipality of Kog, near Ormosh, and as well in the Jerusalem area, which is a tourism region of Ormosh. You might notice with this picture in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the signing of the cooperation agreement, which effectively ensures that we have sustainability. There are two new project ideas included in there, one focusing on enhancing the mobility of elderly persons in the community, and another to enhance disaster resilience among all citizens. So we intend to build on those ideas in the near future. So as a result of this event, we were able to learn about how local cultural and tourism assets can be turned into public events which help enhance uh, basically the resilience of citizens, make them more mentally aware of what's around them, give them a sense of belonging and identity, and to keep them going. We also learned about methods and approaches that use social inclusion, gender mainstreaming, and solidarity that we can use so that we have better tourism events, better agriculture, and better cultural heritage. So as a result of the project overall, with all of these events and the benefits from each event, we have concluded that as a result, and as well, this is coming from our surveys from participants, that we now have new knowledge, new capacities in our areas to prepare and participate in actions that help us go beyond COVID-19, to overcome COVID-19. Our citizens now have more awareness about what policies, what actions, what values can work in practice and how they help to improve the quality of life. And with the signing of the cooperation agreement, we now have better cooperation between our communities. For us, the biggest thing to push the project forward in this post-pandemic age is by having new project ideas. And we have two new project ideas included in the agreement, which we intend to develop further. Once again, it's focusing on mobility of the elderly and on disaster resilience among citizens in rural areas. So we are interested in going further with that. So now that I've showed you this, I would like to show you our guide, and that's right here. And we have created a collection of best practices that show exactly how we can go forward in COVID. So each community contributed their best practices. We detailed it in this guide, and it's available in all the languages of the partnership as well as in English. So here we have it in English, in Hungarian, in Croatian, German, Italian, and this is the Slovenian version, which I showed just now. So it's available on the partners' websites, and I highly encourage you to access the guide. If you need it, you can also contact me directly. I'm available here. And maybe just to show one last time. Here's my email address and here's my phone number. You can contact me further if you want more information about Project Beyond. So I thank you very much for your attention, and I hope to hear from you soon. Goodbye.